Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Speaking from the Heart. This is where we explore the gospel's timeless wisdom and how it continues to shape our work, our business, and our lives. Hi, I'm Richard Fontenay, your host for today, and I'm pleased that you can join us as today's episode invites us into a tender yet transformative journey. Surrender and stillness, the path to inner freedom. Let's be honest, surrendering or letting go and finding peace within our deepest selves really isn't easy. It often means releasing something or someone that once gave us a sense of identity, control, or comfort. Yet, it is within that release that we discover the peace that surpasses understanding, the peace Jesus promised to those who trust in Him. And within those peaceful moments, we give thanks. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This verse is not merely about physical rest. It's a sacred invitation to surrender, to lay down the weight of our expectations, fears, and need for control. Another powerful passage comes from John chapter 14, where Jesus reassures his disciples, "The peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give peace to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." Now, these words remind us that peace is not something we manufacture. It's something we receive when we open ourselves to God's presence and touch the divine within. It is a peace that is unworldly, or to say it another way, a peace that is not of this world. Here's a story of a business leader, let's call him David, who built a successful company from the ground up. He was driven, meticulous, and passionate. But as the company grew, he began to lose sleep, constantly worrying about losing clients and missing deadlines or making mistakes. His success became his prison. And does this sound familiar to you? One day, during a leadership retreat, he was asked a simple question. What are you holding on to so tightly that it's keeping you from being at peace? And that question broke something to him. He realized he had been clinging not just to his business, but to his identity as a successful man. And that day, he prayed, maybe for the first time in his years, and simply said, "Lord, I surrender this to you." Months later, he said something beautiful. "When I let go, I didn't lose control. I found peace, because I wasn't the one holding it all together in the first place." That's the paradox of letting go. When we release, we are released. In business, letting go often means trusting the process and empowering others. As leaders, we can become attached to outcomes, sales targets, reputation, growth metrics. But peace comes when we realize that leadership isn't about holding on, It's about guiding with faith. When we surrender control, we open space for creativity, collaboration, and grace to flow. Letting go doesn't mean losing ambition. It means leading from a place of trust and thanksgiving rather than fear. Letting go in work can mean forgiving mistakes, both our own and others. You know, we can't grow in a state of constant self-criticism. When we hold on to resentments, whether toward a colleague or ourselves, it clutters the soul. The gospel calls us to a level of mercy. Remember how Jesus from the cross said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do"? Well, that's the ultimate letting go. Releasing judgment, bitterness, and pride. And replacing them with compassion and peace. Perhaps you would like to listen to last week's podcast, The Healing Gift of Forgiveness, as it follows this same theme to a T. Letting go in our personal lives might mean releasing a dream that didn't unfold as expected, or a relationship that no longer nurtures growth. Sometimes God's peace is found not in getting what we want, but in trusting that His plan is better than ours. As the psalmist says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness doesn't mean passivity. It means resting in divine alignment, allowing God's timing to move through us rather than rushing ahead of Him. Now, there's an old story about a man walking along a riverbank. He picked up a small pebble, clenched it tightly in his hand, and kept walking. And as the day grew hot, he became thirsty and leaned over to drink from the water. But he couldn't open up his hand to scoop the water because he was still gripping the stone. Now, sometimes we're like that man, clutching what we think we need, unaware that peace flows only when we open our hands. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means giving over, surrendering our grip so that God's loving water and living water can flow through us. My friends, peace is not found in perfection or control. It's found in surrender, in letting go, and in trusting and appreciating that God's love is enough, even when life feels uncertain and we feel extremely weary. When we release what burdens us, we make space for grace, joy, appreciation, and deep inner stillness. And that is the peace within your deepest self, the peace Christ offers to every weary person. Now, before we close today, I invite you into a few moments of reflection. What insight, word, or phrase resonated with you most deeply? What touched your heart? What might you need to let go of something in your business, your work, or your life to make a space for peace? And how can you turn this teaching into action this week? And finally, how can you share this reflection with others through a conversation, a prayer, or an act of kindness. Next time, we'll explore conversion and what it means for us. A powerful continuation of this journey inward, and what it means for us in business, work, and life. I hope you will join us. Until then, may you walk gently, live faithfully, and find peace in the quiet chambers of your heart. I'm Richard Fontenay, closing off for now. See you next Monday, if not before. Bye now.